Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Yakuza 5 Extra Hard Difficulty walkthrough. This is Chapter 4 in Part 4. It is the Fleeting Triumph. We're still Shinada, we've still got that soft jazz in the background, and we're running around some familiar streets at this point. Feel free to do the side missions, feel free to beat up the dudes in silver to get your money up, you know, do the pawn shop stuff, do all the stuff this game does well. I haven't touched a Yakuza game since Kiwami came out. When did Kiwami come out now? Was it January? So it's been about 5 months since I've really delved back into them. I'm excited to go back. I miss these games. I think they're really fun. And I think I'm going to do all the side missions on Yakuza 3 so I can get them on that game. And I think I'm probably going to do some hard mode, no damage boss fights, because of course you can't replay the bosses on extra hard, and those bosses on that game are very tricky. But what I want to try and do is I want to try and punish them by getting behind them and comboing them, and I also want to learn the timings for the tiger drops so that I can do some fancy tiger drops that don't take damage and actually look really cool and really well earned, so even the people who don't like tiger drops can watch those videos and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I think that's what I'll probably work on next for Yakuza, because it's going to be a while until 0 gets localized, and I think I might get 6 when it comes out in Japan, so I can make another one of those translation throughs. I'm just really worried because the Yakuza 6 demo was not my idea of an improvement. They changed the HUD and I hated it. It looked very similar to the ones from the Samurai series that they've done, where it's like a sphere and stuff instead of the bars. I'm a very conventional fighting character-driven action game kind of guy. I like to have my life bar top left, I like it to be a bar, and I like my heat underneath it, I like it to be a bar. Personally, I think the third game had the best HUD, the third and the fourth, especially when the end of it goes like pink and it all gets all fiery. I thought that HUD looked so beautiful, and this game has one of the worst HUDs when it comes to looking cool in my opinion. It's like they let the interns loose and they ruined it, which doesn't make sense, but you know, I'm all for trying different things and taking risks. But the combat was completely changed. It was way slower, way weightier, and it seemed almost mashy, because when you got to a sequence where your heat move took over, you had to mash the buttons to complete it, and you couldn't grab people and do heat actions. It felt like a completely different game. The most fun I had in that was running into cupboards and watching everything explode off them when I clipped them the wrong way. Everything else was beautiful, really interesting, but I didn't like it. I'm probably going to do a playthrough of that. I might play it on stream sometime. But this is Dojima. Daigo Dojima. This is a really fun fight. I really, really like this fight. If Shinada had a tiger drop, I'd like it even more, because I love fighting one-on-one in these games and learning to counter bosses and embarrassing them, basically. But he just doesn't have that, so instead I'm going to be fighting him a little bit, you know, more one-on-one, mano-a-mano, combos, knees to the face, watching him do those perfect dodges and then punish my combo because you can't recover fast enough to block them. Wow, he was in the stance then. Whenever he's in that stance, do not attack him. He will automatically counter you like that and do that crazy spinning arm lock. Here's a heat action with the pole. You've seen this one before. We're going to tickle his niplets with the end of it. There you go. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Oh, in the balls, in the face. And there you go. You just couldn't do this to a human being. I love it. Got all the blood as well. If that much blood was coming out of you, you might be dead. Especially if it's coming out of your mouth, unless you cut your mouth. It's like internal bleeding. But he's got heat mode now, so you want to keep your distance so he doesn't go too crazy. See what the anime did? Look at that. I stood in front of him, he did nothing. The moment I attacked, perfectly automatically dodged and then went into his crazy attacks. This game is crazy, dude. So crazy. There's me pulling my stick out. But because I was moving, it did that context-sensitive attack, which I'm not a big fan of. Here's me doing another stick attack. Uh-oh. Oof. And spin, and slam. You might wonder why I'm pulling out different weapons to do heat moves. The first time you do a heat action does the most damage, so if you bring a couple weapons, you can get way more damage by alternating weapons instead of doing the same heat action. It's one of those strategies that works throughout almost every game, I think. But this is the feel the heat moment, which I quite like the feel the heat moments in this sequence. I've already said it, but I do not like the level up symbol in this game. It looks so much worse to the previous games. Walk down the steps, there's a transition to being back on the roof. I think we can go into the room here, and then we can travel back to Kamurocho, I think is where we're going next, isn't it? Talk to Daigo. Oh no, we've got to do the Kuroha family members. So this is really fun. This is a zone where there's a ton of dudes, but there's also a lot of room. So I don't really mind massive fights if they give you a really, really good environment like this. And again, if you bring a weapon, one of those daggers I think, that does that multi-person takedown, this will be way easier. But at the time, I don't think I knew that that takedown existed. Look at that, the taser stunned 3 people then when I threw it. That's a cool toy. Here's me doing the rugby tackle into whatever that is, crazy wrestling move. You're also fighting with a buddy here, so you're not technically alone, but there's a lot of people, so you want to, if you've spec'd your Shinada towards that tackle, you want to use it as much as you can. At this point, my guy didn't get any real benefits from doing it, and I wasn't a big fan of the rugby move. So I'm just going to do the slide until I build heat, and then I'm going to capitalise on the heat actions. Like that hit just then. I had to take that hit because I was flinching and I couldn't recover quick enough to dash. And if you can't dash, you can't block because he was going to kick me in the back. That's another sequence where I know exactly what I wanted to do and I couldn't do it because of the way the game works. And that's the type of stuff that I would take away if I were to adjust the way this game functioned. Because I think you should be in control of your character at all times. Not a big fan of being stunned, being knocked down, any kind of animation where I cannot recover in some way. Like, I'm all for having a flinch animation when I get hit by a big hit, but let me cancel it if I have the cognition to do so. Like, and I bring it back to those games again, guys. There are games that have done this beautifully. Like games that enable you to auto-recover when you get knocked down by pressing a well-timed button, something that you can do in fighting games to get that fast recovery. Games that even have moves where when you get knocked over, if you time it right, you can recover all your life and recover from the fall. You know, the good old Okemi, or was it Ukemi? I think it might have been Ukemi. A technique that I first was introduced to in Beautiful Joe, and it enabled you to take damage and get it back by being skillful. And I love that idea. You know, I love that level of control. And whenever games take it away from the player, I find it to be very frustrating. It has to have a good reason to do it. It has to be very specific. Like if a boss does a move that's highly telegraphed and its entire move's point is to stun you, then I think it should stun you because it's your fault at that point. But if it's just a stun after taking several hits from enemies, and the enemies are super aggressive and you're going to take a few hits because you know one's perfect, then that's the type of shit that really bugs me. Because if I have to twiddle an analog stick to get out of stun, I'm going to feed you that controller when I find you, because I fucking hate that, and it's infecting Platinum games. I don't know why either. I don't know why they do it. God Hand had it, Metal Gear Rising had it, Korra had it, Turtles has it. Like, too many games have that shit, and I hate it. I've pulled my stick out again, haven't I? Yeah. I love this stick. It's so good. You'll notice I'm doing that weird hold the button running attack, because you can just shopping trolley people to the ground. And when there's a lot of them, there's nothing more fun than shopping trolleying them to the ground. But we put that dude down. A couple more guys here. Charge the swing. Knock them down. There's a cutscene because I think somebody... Did somebody die? Oh, here's the Feel the Heat awesome event moment. There are people on YouTube who make videos for these games, and all they do is show you these. They show you the cool little cutscenes of you doing the quick time events in all the fights. They show you the heat actions and, you know, what happens when you fail heat actions. Weird stuff like that, and they're very popular. I guess it's because these are those games that they take a long time to see all that kind of stuff, and you've got to go through all the story and all the talking to get there. Which, I'm hoping in the new game, there's a button to skip all that shit and it does it instantly, so we don't have to hold 2 buttons to skip things quickly that should have been skipped with 1 button press. But I've not seen anything of Yakuza 6 outside of what I've played, and I'm wondering how that game is changing and evolving, because I would really like to see it completely different to what they showed. Like, I want it to be still moving forward, still mixing it up, but retaining those elements that made it really, really great to me. Like, I think Zero was perfect. It kept the traditional look of the game, the traditional feel of the game, and it added alternate styles that added way more diversity, way more tools in your arsenal, and it was the kind of mix-up that completely changed it, but also kept it very similar. And I thought that was genius. And I've never played that game, so it's even more genius, but they used a similar thing in the remake of the first Yakuza, and it worked great for me. You know, it kind of sucked that I couldn't read any of it, so I didn't truly understand much of what I had, and I had a buddy by the name of Jabba who translated it for me, because he's awesome like that. But even then, you know, when you have to keep consulting a document to learn what things do, it's not as fun. So if I got that game in English, which hopefully I will, it'll probably be even better, because those new techniques are so much fun. It's just not as much fun when you have no idea what they are and how to use them, and a lot of people had not really figured out how to use half those techniques in that game, because it was only the Japanese dudes playing, and unfortunately they're all on like Nico Nico, and or is that the name of the video site that the Japanese have, Nico Nico, or is it just Nico 1? I have no idea. The Japanese YouTube place, they're all over there being amazing gamers, but it's very difficult to get in that site because you have to log in and stuff, and I don't speak that language at all. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.